Hello, my name is John Howard. I'm 35 years old, and I have to tell you about an incident that happened to me about 2 years ago. And let's just say, it was not a very pleasant experience for me. I had recently just finished up my last year of college, and decided to spend the last of my summer vacation at my hometown. It sounds strange, I know, since college is usually where all the parties and fun summer events are held, but I just wanted a taste of home. My parents barely use my childhood home anymore. They only use it at the beginning of each year for about a month or two, so I decided to live there for the time being. My parents told me they were fine with it over the phone as long as I paid the bills, which I was cool with. However, because I haven't been in my hometown for a year, I had recently lost my job as a fry cook for a fast food restaurant. In fact, I didn't even get fired at all. I just quit the job. Now, I would go into the specific reasons as to why I quit, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I just hated the job. Now, you're probably wondering, why would you hate working at a fast food restaurant? Well, the fast food restaurant I worked at, let's just say it was not very good. For starters, my coworkers were just complete jackasses, and they basically picked on me every chance they got. And not to mention the food there was absolutely terrible. They were basically serving customers raw meat, and they were too stupid to realize it. My boss refuses to give me an actual paycheck, and he basically uses me to get more customers into his restaurant. I am so glad that place shut down a few years ago. Maybe because of all the health violations the restaurant received, because I'm pretty sure it received a lot of them. But let's get back to the point. Because I lost my job, I decided to flip through the newspaper to see if I can find a new job. I flipped through the employment section of the newspaper trying to find a good job, but none of the jobs stood out to me. I even tried driving around town searching for one, but I didn't have much luck. So, yeah, I was left in a rut for quite a while, until I received a strange note in the mail. It was a late Saturday morning. I was still looking for a job, but I had no luck. That was until I went out to check the mail. While I was checking the mail, I came across a rather strange note. I took it inside and decided to read it. Supposedly it was a note from a company called CBC Entertainment. They had recently just opened a new restaurant called Charles Pizza Zone, and they were looking for a night security guard to work the night shift from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Not my ideal position, but I couldn't pass up a job like this. I'll skip past all the boring application stuff. It was pretty self-explanatory, but I did have a job interview, of course, just the generic stuff. But after all that, I eventually got the job, and they said I can begin tomorrow at 12 o'clock tonight. The last few days weren't very eventful. The night eventually came. I was driving down the roads to get to the restaurant. It took me a little while, but I eventually got to the restaurant. This place kind of reminded me of Freddy Fazbear's, a place that I used to go to when I was a kid. I thought this place would be similar to Freddy's. I walked inside and I saw the three main animatronics standing on the stage: a yellow rabbit, a purple cat, and a brown dog. I didn't know their names at the time. I thought they looked rather creepy, so I just decided to avoid them and try to find my office. I did a good 5 minutes of searching until I eventually found my office. It was a rather strange office. There were two doors leading to the left and right hallway, but there was also a door leading to the air vent. I was kind of confused as to why there was a door leading to the air vent, but I didn't think too much about it. I sat down in the small chair located in the office. I then received some strange message. I pressed play and this is what it said.
Hello? Hey, man. I heard you passed your job interview the other day. And if you did, then congratulations. I'm so glad you decided to quit your job at that nasty fast food place. I mean, rude customers, low pay, and nasty employees. Who would want to work at a place like that? Nobody. But let's stop talking about rubbish jobs. Let us talk about how much of an improvement Charles Pizza Zone is compared to that nasty, rundown Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Like the staff. The staff are very polite towards our customers. You know what they say, service with a smile. And the pizza is always hot and ready, unlike Freddy's Pizza that had no heart put into it. The pizza was almost always served cold, with the side order of bugs being cooked inside. Not just that, but the staff clearly only worked there for the sake of the money. Like one time, I was at my nephew's birthday party, and some brats pushed him away from the Pac-Man, and he scraped his elbow upon impact. He was crying for help, but the staff didn't seem to notice or care, and it didn't help the kids were laughing at him when he was in freaking pain. I'm so glad that place was demolished last week. It closed in 1994 and stood in ruins for a while. But let's talk about the animatronics instead. These animatronics are a massive improvement to the uncanny characters from the original restaurant. Kids don't seem to mind Ashley and Billy when they come off the stage to meet and greet. Still get some crying kids from time to time, but other than that, it's not really that big a deal. However, at night, things change. And what I mean by that is that the characters get a little glitchy at night. So the animatronics will try to get into your office. If you see them on the cameras, and if you see them in the hallway, shut the doors on them. However, don't leave them shut. You see, the power supply you have is very limited, and if you use too many devices, it'll cause the entire building to go dark. Alright, well, that should be everything now. So check the cameras and make sure to close the doors only if absolutely necessary. And don't leave them shut for too long, or else the entire building will go dark. Alright, good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
After listening to the message, needless to say, I was confused, but nonetheless, I decided to just continue my job. Besides, I'm only here till 6 o'clock anyway, so it's not that big a deal. I decided to check the cameras for anything unusual. I checked the cameras, and I saw that the animatronics were still on the stage. The camera feed was fuzzy, but it was still visible. I still didn't know their names, but I didn't really care, so I just decided to flip to another camera. I flipped to another camera. This looked like an arcade, but it also looked like the dining room, because I could see some tables here. But nonetheless, I just decided to flip to another camera. I then flipped to the camera labeled parts. It was basically the storage room where they kept all the old animatronic pieces. There was nothing interesting in that room, so I just decided to move on. I flipped back to the stage camera, but I noticed something strange. The yellow rabbit and the brown dog were still on the stage. But there was a third one. I know there was a third one. The purple cat. The purple cat was missing. I frantically searched for it through the cameras until I saw it. There it was. The purple cat. It was there in the arcade area. I was kind of confused as to why it was here, but I just decided not to think too much about it. Besides, it's only 4 o'clock. Just a few more hours, and I'll be done with my shift. I was in the office trying to contemplate why I saw that purple cat in the dining area. Then I heard some footsteps coming towards the office. I turned on the light, and I saw it. The purple cat was staring at me for the doorway. I instantly shut the door. I didn't want to know what that thing would do to me if it got me. I heard banging on the door. After a while, I didn't hear anything. I didn't want to open the door because I feared that the cat would still be there. It eventually turned 6 o'clock. That meant that my shift was over. I had to open the door. I hesitated for a few moments before finally opening the door. The cat wasn't there. To my luck, I walked outside the office to the front door. Upon walking to the front doors, I noticed something. All the animatronics were back in their proper spots, including the purple cat. No, that's not possible. I just saw that thing moving around. How could it be back on the stage? I thought to myself, but I decided not to think too much about it. When I got home that night, I sat there trying to contemplate what I saw. I even took it upon myself to research the names of some of the characters. I learned that the brown dog, the yellow rabbit, and the purple cat that I saw had names. They were Charles, Ashley, and Billy. I also learned that there were 2 other characters, but I didn't pay much attention to them. I was scared from what happened tonight that I just went straight to bed after that, getting ready for the second night. But if it would be anything like the first night, tomorrow wouldn't be any better.